there folks, today we are taking a look at the game Oltree right here. Very impressed with this game, actually. I didn't know what to expect. It's actually not a game that I've heard of, but I've been really impressed with it. I've been really impressed with all the games that have come out by Studio H. Actually really impressed. They're very quality. They're well designed, good components, all sorts of different stuff. So this is a cooperative game. It says it takes about 60 minutes. It's probably going to take you quite a bit longer. It's 2 to 4 players, and it is ages 10 and up. So telling you just a little bit about this game. My wife and I have played it and really enjoyed it. So I'm wanting to do just kind of a quick overview and review of this game. Now, I really did enjoy this game. If you're wanting to just quit watching the video now, I did really enjoy this game. There's a number of games that I feel like are similar to this. If you've played The Legends of Andor, if you've played Robin Hood, both of those games are by Cosmos, but I feel like there's a number of cooperative games that are very story driven. So you have in Robin Hood, you've got like an actual book you're kind of reading through. In this one, and in The Legends of Andor, you have cards you're reading through. And this one is a little less story driven in a sense, because you've got all these different tasks that you're doing. So you've got your board right here, and you've got all these cards that you can move to those different locations and try and carry out those different tasks. And so you're going to roll dice depending on the different character that you are, depending on the different buildings that you've built within the castle. That's one aspect I really love about this game, is you've got the castle in the middle, and so you can travel from the castle to any of these different regions, and you can get resources, or you can carry out some of these tasks, these incidents. And so there may be a ship coming over, and you have to roll dice to see what happens. And so there might be a success or a failure, and there's a different outcome that happens on different things that you roll. But inside the castle, you can build on the corner of these castles. There's 4 towers you can build that help you with different things to protect different areas and things like that. That's really fun. And then there's also a bunch of different tiles that you can place inside of the castle that help you get additional dice when you are rolling. And so they have different symbols on them, and so there's 4 main symbols. And so if you have one of them, there's one with a sword and a shield, and so if you're rolling at that one for a certain task, if you have another symbol that's like that inside, because you've built that symbol inside the castle, you get an extra die. And so that's one of the main things that happens, but there's a few other more detailed things that aren't necessarily worth covering right now. But overall, really impressive. You've got kind of 4 major events that happen. So in between players' turns, you're going to roll a die. And this is something we didn't know, is that you're supposed to do this in between every single person's turn. I think the rules weren't super clear on that. Overall, the rule book was really pretty good, very straightforward. That's one thing I love about this game. Very straightforward, very intuitive. As far as you look on the board, and this piece kind of fits right here, and it's like, yes, this piece fits here. It's obvious. And like the track, when you're rolling die, it just gives you icons that make sense. There's like an eyeball, and it has an X over some of them to say, like, don't look at this card, just put it wherever it goes in the region. There's other ones that have an eyeball that's not crossed out. Look at this card, read it, those different things make it very obvious what you're supposed to do. And so this is a game where you could play it once and then put it away and probably pull it out, and you'd remember and like very quickly catch on how to play again. And if you're explaining it to someone else, it would be very quick, very easy for them to get a hang of it. There's some cards that cover up different regions where you'd normally gain a resource, and there's just a little symbol underneath that you can see that has an X of that resource. So you can't grab that resource while that card is covering that up. You have to accomplish that card first. So just very obvious things that make so much sense in my mind, that I really loved about the game. Something else I enjoy is just the different stories and possibilities you have with this. So you have like 5 different decks that, depending on the kind of game you're playing, you'll play with only 2 of them. And so you shuffle those together, and there's just so many different possibilities. So the replay value in this game is really pretty good. There's 5 base stories that you can play through. We played a short one, which is 5 cards, which did take a decent amount of time. Granted, we were playing it a little bit wrong at the beginning, but there are long ones that are 10 cards, twice as many, and that could take a decent amount of time to get through all of those. It really, really could. But really enjoyed the components of this game, really enjoyed the story for the most part. The very first one you're supposed to play is a little dark, you know, it talks about demons and different things. It wasn't necessarily my favorite just type of thing, but I'm really excited to see what all the other ones entailed. Loved the actual gameplay. Very simple, very fast, just go and do your thing. I feel like some games just make it overly complicated, where you do this and that and this and that and then this and that, and then if you do this, you do this and this and this, and there's just so many things to try and keep track of. This was not like that at all. I'd say the fun that you have in being able to do what you want to do on your turn is really weighted well between what you're doing and what you have to do kind of for the board. So you're rolling die and then putting out cards and things for the board. So you are doing that fairly often, but the amount of time that you get to spend, the amount of time that takes is not very long. Those are very quick. And so there's been other games where you just do so much and you forget, and you're like, oh, should we go back and do this, or do we skip it? And this was not like that at all. Very simple, very straightforward. Really cool game. Amazing pieces. Like, there's actually, I don't know if you can see this very well, but these like little horses and things. And so there's these horses with characters on them, and there's 8 of them. So you have 8 characters, but it's a 4-player game. So you can play, like, again, so much replayability with the characters you have. My wife and I played alone, but we each controlled 2 characters. That's something I would definitely recommend with games like this. I would recommend this for other games as well, like some of those other ones I recommended. Often there's a balance that they try to strike, but it just really doesn't quite work out the same. So overall, that is my review of Oltree. Really enjoyed it. Very fun game. If you're looking for a nice co-op game, this is one I definitely would recommend, especially if you like the theme. I think the theme was really fun, really nice. So hopefully that gives you guys just a nice touch and a taste of this game, what it is, what it does, and why it may or may not be right for you. Thanks.